This is my black turmeric. Beautiful plant. That was those little teeny pieces I planted earlier in the year. And look how beautiful. I don't know how much will be there, but don't worry, I will take you with me when I go in there and see what is in there. Hi everybody, it's Robbie from Southern California, and today I'm gonna harvest my black turmeric. There is my black turmeric. I bought this back May 2019, paid $26 for it, and it was just a real little piece. I'll show you in the video. It came as a big hand, and then Gary took the big part, and I took the little tiny pieces that broke off, and I decided I'm gonna plant mine my way. He planted his in his garden. I have no idea what is in this. I just know it's completely died away, and I am gonna do this with gloves. So let's see. This is exciting because it was so tiny it could be gone. So I don't know what happened to it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm literally going to just tip this over. It grew beautiful all year. Had the beautiful green leaf with the purple down it. Now let's see how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna put it in the basket. Okay, first this is all the old leaves, which of course we're gonna compost back. And now we're gonna see the truth. Whoops, what happened to that little piece? Take my little stake out I made. See, here I used just a fork and some plastic tape. It was a poly tape, and I wrote the name on it. I used to use wooden, like ice cream sticks, but they disappear like in a matter of months. I see something. So let's see, because I grow ginger and I grow everything. I guess I can just put it all on the table, and then I can save the soil and replant it later on in the spring when the weather warms up. Now the reason here that we take it out is because, like, see, it's so wet. This can end up rotting it. You could end up losing, and if you're too wet and cold, you could end up losing your ginger. You could end up losing everything. So let's move that there. Look at all the roots. See, it's very wet. So I've got the original piece here with a bunch of these little tubers it grows, which will all go back. It's gonna take me time to build this up, and they're hard to find sometimes, but there's a piece. And let's see. Remember, mine was a really tiny little piece. Oh, wow, that. Now I can see it's red inside. The tubers seem white. Oh, and it's full of earthworms, look at that. They found their way in. They love the soil. All right, well, that seems like it. So there's a bunch of little tubers. I'm gonna have to go through and collect them all. I'm going to put them in a basket, and I don't know if I'm gonna rinse them or just let them dry. The soil, you wanna save the soil because this soil is alive. Remember, soil's alive. Oh, it's all through here. Look at, oh, boy, I started with two tiny pieces. Look at that. So let's see, the original plant is on the top, right there. So there we go. Keep finding more and more. So I will have to go through each little bit. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the leaves on the bottom. Now I'm gonna just make sure I get it all. Okay, so this is kind of rotten, and this looks like it was the original plant. There's the original plant. The original piece of black turmeric I planted. It looks exactly the same, and how fascinating that it came off of one of these and it ended up growing all these new little bulbs. See, we're gonna lose the mother plant. It's literally rotten because she's done her job. She's produced. That's it. I'm just making sure that there's no more. Like I said, you don't throw soil away. I don't throw soil away. You can do anything you want. That's what's wonderful about gardening, is you do it the way you want, and then you do it what works for you. All this is just beautiful. I can add some more kitchen scrap composted down matter to it later. More earthworms, just packed with earthworms. All it took was a few to climb in there or accidentally be put in there, and then they'll just multiply on their own. But I'll put all this soil back, and then what I might do in the spring is tip it back over. I can take some kitchen scraps that I dumped somewhere and then add it in so the soil will be nice and rich when I'm ready to plant later. So that's what we ended up with. So we started with 2 pieces that were about that size. And now I've ended up, see the purple? You can see the purple through there. So I ended up with all this, which I think is really cool. Let me put it on the table so you can see it better. So my 2 teeny pieces, see there's the roots, it's sent out to the bottom. And look at that. This must, no, this is the original mother plant too. So there's the original and there's the original. So this one must have come off of this, and this is just a piece that broke off. Look at that. I think what I'm going to do is just leave it. I'm going to let it dry a little bit and put it in a cool, dry place in the house, probably a basket. Or I might cover it with some shavings or wood chips or something, and just let it sit. Keep an eye on it because I don't want it to dry out. So in the spring, I can find a nice place for it, because that's the thing. With all the rain we've been getting, if this continues to get wet and it's cold, you'll end up with this. It just rots. But this is the mother plant, so this one's done. But that's what will happen is if you leave your ginger outside and it's too cold and too wet, it'll just rot, and then the earthworms will go in there and eat it all up. But if the weather was warm and dry, then it would, or just at least dry, it would then just wait until spring when the weather warms up, and then it would send all the new leaves. So that's it. So as you can see, this is what I ended up with. That's what I ended up with. I ended up with all this, 2 small pieces that probably broke off as I was taking it out, and all these little bulbous. So here is how I'm going to end my video. I am going to wash my black turmeric. Gary said he didn't want to wash his, but I have been doing research. And you know what? After spending 3 hours on the computer, I can't find a whole lot on black turmeric. So I am going to wash them. I'm not going to scrub them. I'm just going to wash off a lot of the, the soil that may have some critters on it that could do some damage to it while it's waiting for spring. And spring will be here before we know it. I just want to make sure there's no earthworms or anything on it that may try to eat it. Now, as far as these bulbous, I have no idea if they grow. I know for a fact that the roots do not grow on ginger, so I am going to assume that the roots will not grow on turmeric. This is black turmeric. I know I misspoke once or twice during the video and called it black ginger, but it's black turmeric. Now, these may grow. I don't know. These are bulbous, but they have lines on them. They're not just really smooth. They do have, a unique look to them. But see, there's different types. Let me get up and show you this. I'm hoping you can see this. You've got these that are long, and these are blue. See, these are very blue. You can see they're blue. I'm not going to cut them right now because I want to make sure we get a good crop going before we start cutting them up, because they're expensive and hard to get sometimes. See, these are long. These are going to grow long, where these are growing round. So I am not going to do anything with these. These also are not the right color. See, these that are growing elongated are bluish. The bulbous, I'm calling them bulbous, appear to look white. So I'm going to say they may not grow, but I am going to probably taste 1 or 2 just to see what they taste like. But again, it's the long ones that have the color. You can see even in the smallest one, it's turning blue. So they call it black, but it's a very deep blue. So I am going to rinse them. I am going to plant the whole thing. I probably will end up planting it just as you see it here. I'm not going to break it apart. I may end up starting it inside and keeping it dry, you know, so it doesn't get, you know, waterlogged, because you don't want it to get waterlogged. And then putting it out in the spring, because my biggest fear is the rain, the dampness, and the cold could rot it. All in all, it looks really good. This is a piece of the original plant. Let's get this washed and I'll show you. Whoops, it's gonna come off if I scrub it too hard. That's okay. No, it did come off. Okay, this is the original piece and it grew this. So I am gonna hold on and grow the original piece back. Whether it will grow anything or not, I'm not sure, but it's still intact. And see, this has got the pinkish, they kind of go pink to blue. This is actually the turmeric. I don't know about the bulbs, but I'm not going to break them off. I am going to plant it just as you see it, like this. And what will probably happen is it will get bigger and grow more of the elongated ones that turn into the turmeric. See that pink one there? That will turn bluish and turn more into the turmeric. But I figured, you know what? A good washing, let them dry a little bit, and then in the next few weeks just plant them back and keep an eye on them. If we weren't so wet, I would have just left them. And here, let's wash this one off and I'll show you this one real close. The reason I suspect that I'm going to call them bulbous, those little balls on the bottom, are not going to produce leaves. No leaves, no flowers. Once they mature, they'll produce flowers. I'm going by their coloring, the behavior of the plant and what it looks like. To me, it looks like it's a nitrogen-fixing, probably, plant, but the main thing it's doing is it's feeding the plant. Okay, I think that's good enough for washing. And the same thing on here. I don't need the gloves. This is the other one, and see, it's turning blue. The ones that grow long, it's got a little ball growing on the end there, but the one that grows long is blue. The balls that are growing on it are not blue, they're white. So they are feeding the tubers that are growing, the rhizomes, see? And these probably just store food for the plant. I'm assuming you can eat them. Any of the roots, like I said, won't grow. I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to end up planting it right back in another pot soon. You know, when I feel like it, when I get ready. And we know that's a good piece there. But so expensive to go buy. So we want to make sure we start to get them going. Again, I only grew mine off of 2 little pieces. So all in all, it looks like it's doing pretty good. But I want to make sure I keep the whole thing intact. I'll let it just dry a little bit so it will think it went dormant, and then it will start to grow. We really got a late start on this. We didn't get it until June, and until we got it planted and everything, it should have been planted probably a little earlier. So that's it, and that's the conclusion on my thoughts on it. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody else talk about the bulbous, but again, because of the coloring and the behavior of the way it looks and the way it grows, and it's hanging off, I think this is feeding the rhizomes here, the tubers, and that's why this is blue, and this is just food that it's storing for the plant, and water. So that's it. With that, have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye.